Welcome. I'm Kinetic Symphony. I hunt down and report on weird and true mysterious stories, from glitches to the paranormal. Case file number 1383, written by Solar Phoenix 0207. The Wolf Guardian's Silent Warning. My family has a history of incredible abilities, seeing into the future, mediums, sixth sense, heightened sensitivity to spectral activity. The best way to describe what I saw was the equivalent of a wolfish grim reaper. So when I was little, about 8 or 10, I was with my family on a walk around in our urban trailer park. There's one part of a street that is a dead end, leading into the woods. As we passed there to head up that street on our way home, I saw it standing in the trees, huge, bigger than any wolf I've ever seen, almost as tall as a person. It had glowing eyes, I think they were white or gold, with a shaggy black coat. It just stared at me with a sad gaze, like it was pitying me. Then my mom called to me and I turned to look at her. When I looked back at the wolf, it was gone. Later that week, Mom got a call. Her grandfather had a week to live. His x-rays lit up like a Christmas tree to show many malignant tumors. Even as a young girl, it hit me like a freight train. That wolf was a warning to me somehow. When I spoke to my native studies teacher, a Micmac elder named Dave, he explained that it may have been a spirit telling me of his passing. He explains that he himself knew spirits as a boy, even if he hadn't been connected to his native past and faith at the time. They are especially attracted to children and try to protect and guide them. Wolves are especially seen as protectors, and the animal he saw the most in those spirits were wolves. To this day, I still thank that spirit for helping me, and I asked Dave to reach out to it in his next sweat lodge, to thank it only on my behalf. I hope to get into this beautiful culture and gain my spirit name and clan. Case file 1383, The Wolf Guardian's Silent Warning. I wonder at what point in our culture did wolves start to be perceived as a negative omen? If you think about it, it's rather odd. Wolves have been part of human society well before the agricultural revolution, when we were no more than hunter-gatherers tens of thousands of years ago. Keep the good ones around, content from our scraps, but providing excellent guardianship. In fact, if I had to pick an animal that best represent guardianship for humans, it'd be a wolf. Or, in our cases now, domesticated dogs. But yeah, I don't know when that crossover happened. And sadly, this has nothing to do with the Dave we all know and love, but that's okay. Dave can just chill out. Bonus file written by VeranoEte, Decades of Mystery. One night, I came home late after everyone went to bed as usual. As soon as I pulled up outside, I had a feeling that someone was in my house. I went upstairs to my room, but I noticed that the bedroom door opposite to mine was closed. It's never closed. I knew someone was in there, so I hurried to my room and closed the door the best I could. I usually turn on the light and fan, but instead I turned on my little nightlight beside my bed. I quickly start to change and get into bed when I hear the door across the hall open. I jumped into bed and turned off the light and pulled the covers up. Now, from my bed, I had a direct line to my door. The door doesn't usually shut all the way due to cable cords, but it won't open back up. I couldn't believe what happened next. A large white male walks out of the bedroom, turns on the stairway light. I could see his skin and the white t-shirt he was wearing. I hear him walk down the stairs, walk through the dining room and into the kitchen and family room, like he was checking on our house. Listen as he retraces his steps, walks back up the stairs, turns off the light, walks back into the bedroom and closes the door shut. I took off the next day and went to stay at my mom's for like 2 days. I finally told my grandma what happened when I came back home. Growing up, everyone in my family would always joke around about the mysterious man who lived in my grandparents' house. I was convinced he lived in the attic in that same exact bedroom. I never witnessed anything like this ever in this house. I lived there for half my life. The mystery man would move stuff, hide stuff, steal food. This went on for decades. Well, years later, I moved back in for a while with my small child. I've always been a night owl, so I'm the last to go to sleep. I would be sitting in the family room watching TV, and I would see someone walking through the dining room. I thought it was my grandma, and would expect her to walk right through the kitchen, but nobody came in. I would see this out of the corner of my eye a couple times per week. I moved into another place that I'm also quite convinced is haunted as well. I can't escape it. Case notes for the bonus file. Decades of mystery. So these are definitive signs of a real human being occupying the space, giving them missing food. Spirits need energy, but not from the chemical processes of food. However, moving into another place with another human squatter? What a strange confluence there. What are the odds of living in two different places that both are either haunted or both occupied by a human squatter? Or one is haunted and then one is a squatter? That's very unlikely, right? But I guess it could happen. Very, unfortunate, I guess? Yeah. Bonus file, written by Lucifersfirstlady. I met my grandmother's ghost in a red trench coat. Growing up, I have always had very unexplainable things happen to me, or have seen very paranormal things. Once at about 13 years old, a woman with a red long trench coat and a purple bowler hat with a freshly picked flower in it, who had beautiful gray curly hair, appeared in front of me. As I was sitting on my bed, the woman smiled at me and said, "You look just like her, don't you? Will you tell your mother I love her with all my heart, and to not be sad she wasn't there to say goodbye?" Me being absolutely dumbfounded, I closed my eyes and opened them again to make sure I wasn't dreaming. When I opened my eyes, the woman was gone. I got up out of bed and ran to the family kitchen where my mom was making dinner for everyone. In tears, I cried to my mom with hysteria, describing the strange woman that I had seen. I will never forget her face dropping and the tears welding up in her eyes as she told me that it was her mother who just visited me. My mom never got to say goodbye to her before passing away from lung cancer, or got to attend her funeral, who I'd never met as she died when I was a very young child. My mom then proceeded to tell me that she sees her in the same form from a distance waving to her. Then when she blinks or takes a double take, she's gone. My mother then proceeds to sit down and tell me that my family's history, that all the women in my family have had all type of psychic ability that all seem to start from a young age. She always made me feel very believed and heard when I would tell her about things I would see or insights from the universe I would receive. As I have gotten older, I have realized I have many gifts of clairaudience, clairsentience, clairvoyance, claircognizance, and etc. Now, as an adult and only trusting a few people with my gifts, when people ask me how I do it, I say, "You know just as much as I do," because I don't know how it happens. It's like asking me how do I breathe, well I just do it. My mom always tells me that the universe picks certain souls to carry these gifts, and to use them wisely, and only tell those people we trust. I'm not schizophrenic for any of those who don't believe in this type of phenomena. I have met people with true mental health issues such as schizophrenia. My gifts are nothing like that. Thankfully, I have an amazing husband who is always happy to listen to what I experience and who finds lots of interest in my relationship with the universe. So thankfully, I have a beautiful support system to keep me grounded. Case notes for the bonus file. I met my grandmother's ghost in a red trench coat. So first, I'm just happy to hear that you've had such a good support system along the way. A mom that believes you, and now a husband just as keenly interested in your abilities and perception. Man, trying to imagine that though, you have a child that can see your own mother when you never had the chance to even say goodbye. And of course, you know it can't be some subconscious fluke because your child has never met your mother, her grandmother. I mean, if that isn't concrete evidence of the supernatural, the otherworldly, what is? If a child sees someone you know is dead that you loved, but they never saw them, they never met, there's no pictures, it's impossible. I mean, what are the odds of someone imagining someone, the possible combinations of a face and the clothing that someone would wear? It's almost infinite. So no, this is concrete evidence, and in such a wholesome way. And now time for the quote of the day. This is the saving grace of humor. If you fail, no one is laughing at you. A. Whitney Brown. Ah yes, the consolation prize of nothing but stares, empty, silent, judging you. Is anyone else afraid of speaking to a crowd, not just as a comedian, but just in general? You have this idea that you get up there, you say your piece, you express yourself, and then everyone is just like, okay, so was that it? Do you have anything else? Or we're just gonna kind of stare blankly at you? Now that is the stuff of pure terror. Like the video, subscribe, hit the bell. Kinetic Symphony signing off.